VCR Redux will begin in T-5 minutes.
What the f*** is VCR Redux?
It's the show where we take movies from the VCR era and bring them back to today.
Well, how do we do that?
Well, we start by talking about a VHS classic, and usually you'll say something like,
I haven't been this uncomfortable since I watched Meatballs 4, Meatballs to the Rescue with my parents. Oh yeah, or you'll say something stupid like,
I wish we lived in a world where the Garbage Pail Kids made as many movies as the Muppets.
but I know you'll always see it through with a positive attitude.
I hate this movie, I hate being here, I hate all of this. Oh, Jamie Kennedy. Oh, well, shit. Well, let's go for this.
He was in Son of Mask. This is genius.
I am not a gamer. I'd rather read books. I'm just
Ian's like the old lady that's like, I got video game monsters, I got toy monsters in here.
As long as we respect the passion and the artistry that went into these films.
You know, obviously they took this movie, it's 93, right? And you're like, what do you want to see in your Mario movie? And they're like, oh, we want it to be grim, we want a lot of death, we want tits and ass.
Oh, and then we start the pitch ideas with modern day sequels like
Weekend at Bernie's 3, Cocaine Mountain.
Sometimes we take it kind of seriously.
I'll watch a Paul Verhoeven alien movie.
oh my gosh, that alien will have more vaginas than anything you've ever seen in your life. Sometimes this Hawaiian shirted fool will pitch something stupid like,
I would take out the virtual reality stuff and just have it be about Jeff Fahey mowing the lawn.
Sometimes the best pitches come from the live chat.
Alex Bonafonte also pitches Grand Theft Starfighter Vice Galaxy.
wait, I thought I had the best pitches.
And what happens at the end of the movie? The ultimate fart. The
For that.
fart that the warmth goes like all the way down to your socks.
The only rules are, there are no rules. Sometimes we cross over franchises.
Only the truck from Tango and Cash can kill Christine.
And sometimes we travel back in time.
Like 1995 is missing a good Universal Soldier sequel.
But you never know what we're gonna pitch next.
What do you want Daniel Stern behind like a muzzled mask? Like,
We all know it should be Pesci behind the mask, and like underneath the mask, you should hear him going like fritter, 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 fritter.
you are so proud of yourself for that one. I can't stand you.
I would also love to see a Charles Bronson version of It's a Wonderful Life.
What?
Direct to DVD.
If you made a shot-for-shot remake of Scarface with Goofy as Al Pacino, it would be amazing.
Oh my God.
Doris, you need me to be the bad guy.
It's like the worst 1987 Disney movie Disney's ever made. Schlongo, directed by Jim Wynorski.
Like, I would watch a whole bowl of that.
Do the John Holmes story. Add a comedy spin to it.
Wow, the Wonderland murders are so funny.
I'd watch it on my mobile.
Something happens and he goes into a coma. He gets like, hit by a car or something. I know this is dark, but like, bear with me. He's got to go on.
Did you just go like Hard to Kill with Ferris Bueller?
I'd watch it on my iPad.
If you want to just like throw in the kitchen sink, it all works. Like Alien versus Predator versus RoboCop, like if that works. Alien versus Predator versus Terminator, that works.
Alien versus Predator versus Ernest, that works.
That works.
I respect everything you just said. I need David Silver and Terry Silver and the Sloan family all learning the Quicksilver, but they're doing it in Breakin' 3 Hydraulic Boogaloo, and it's underwater. It's gonna be incredible. Eat your fucking shit out, James Cameron. I got the underwater movie you can't touch.
That was the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mr. Toxie Goes to Washington.
My ass would be in the theater tomorrow.
If Harley Quinn gets 7 movies, then Tank Girl should get at least 70.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
I mean, why should we even bother with Look Who's Talking when Air Bud is soaring to new highs?
All I know is I want Danny McBride.
I'd want him doing anything other than writing Halloween movies, honestly. Anything that keeps him away from that fucking job, I'm for it.
Just let him talk out of his butt. I don't care how he does it.
I'd rather not.
Austin Powers doing the Macarena.
That would be the opening credits. Come on.
But we have not yet had Die Hard on a half pipe. What if John McClane Jr. was a pro skateboarder and also an avid machine gun enthusiast? Skater Die Hard.
What up, virtual people? Welcome to the 145th episode of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2024. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, the third leg of our VCR tripod himself. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mac Daddy Mickey Torres is Mick back on the show.
What's up, everyone?
Back.
And rounding out this righteous crew, setting a record for the fastest VCR return. He's an award-winning miniature artist who's brought to life scenes, props, and locations from Sleepaway Camp, The Walking Dead, and the iconic apartment from Frasier. The bearded miniaturist himself, Preston Poling, is back on the show.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me back. I can't wait to dive in.
Thank you so much. We are here today to celebrate the birth of the Brat Pack, the roast of Mayor Winningham, and the rise of Rob Lowe. That's right, folks. This world needs St. Elmo's fire too, and we're here to give it to you. But before Ian says it was all something Joel Schumacher made up to keep himself going through the 80s, we got a dish on how St. Elmo's fire came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that goes double for you at home and everyone watching the live chat. Was it Love at First Laserdisc? Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how St. Elmo's fire came into your lives. So, Preston, when did you first get St. Elmo?
I am a newbie. I watched St. Elmo's Fire this morning at 4 a.m. just so I could be on this podcast.
That's impressive. That's dedication.
That is
folks.
not dedication right there.
Right, that is the
It's
best
been
time
on
to
my-
watch this movie.
It's
You
been
get the
on my
VCR
to
Purple
watch
Heart
list
Award.
forever, along with The Breakfast Club, which I also have not seen.
Wow.
I know
you're
it,
so
I know.
lucky.
Twofer.
So I thought, you know what? I'll watch it, jump on, see what it's all about.
Oh my God. So
I can't wait to dive in. I want to see where everybody's perspective falls on this thing because I have my own thoughts and I want to see where you guys fall too.
All right, give us the general. Was it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a combination, a mixed bag? Before we
so
move
I
on
thought about
to
it.
Mickey.
I've been thinking about it all day, and as soon as it was done, I was like, yeah, that was pretty much how it was in your 20s after high school, and that it really rang true. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't a coming of age, it was just now you're of age.
Yeah.
But then as I sat there and marinated on it throughout the day, I was like, these people are all really fucked up. You know, every
Yes.
one of them, I got to thinking, I'm like, none of them really had any redeeming qualities. And I was like, you know, at first I was so quick to think, yeah, that was pretty much my group of friends when I was in my 20 whatevers. And then I thought, man, I hope we weren't as fucked up as that. So I really had to reflect on that quite a bit.
You were.
It's the money. The money corrupted.
The money corrupted the 80s, the meat generation. Oh man.
Mhm.
All right, I gotta know, when was this a Mick date for you, Mickey, or were you a little too young still?
No, so we talked about it in other VCRs, but Class was I saw movie Class in the movie theaters. In theaters.
Oh,
You saw Class in theaters?
My uncle took me. I was a young kid, and my uncle's like taking me to this movie, and I had no idea. And he's like, you know, hiding my face in some parts or whatever like that. And then he was just like, whatever. But the whole thing is like, so I saw that before. Obviously, that was '83. This comes out later, and I saw this on HBO, and I just remember thinking back and going like, yo. Those are the dudes from Class. And I loved the movie.
Yeah.
I like that sold me. Like in my young mind, I didn't think that these guys would ever be doing other movies. Like I said, like I didn't get the concept of movies, so to speak, because I was so young when I saw Class.
Mm.
So when I saw St. Elmo's, and I was flipping through HBO, and like again, I'm like, yo, those are the dudes from that movie I saw. And then I'm like, what is this? And I just watched it. And again, watching it young. And I'm just going like, yo, this is fucked up. But
there's something kind of adorable though about like going back so far that you didn't even know their names yet. You know, that's like Andrew McCarthy and Rob Lowe. You're just like, oh, those dudes from Class. Like, I remember for the longest time, Rob Lowe was like that dude from Wayne's World and Bad Influence. You know, like to me, I didn't know.
Yeah, I hate this
didn't
world.
and then then think about this, like John Cusack's in Class as well. And I didn't even like put that together until like later on. And like I don't
Alan
know.
Ruck is in there. There's some deep.
It might have been like
hitters.
one crazy summer before I sat there and went like, wait a minute.
But Class is never brought into the Brat Pack stuff, and I always hate that because I'm like, that's pure Brat Pack. You know,
oh, totally. Yes, it's it's the roots.
It is the start. You have Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy. You have the start. The movie.
Yeah, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. You know, or 3D Space Hunter 3D with Molly Ringwald, but like,
or Heaven Help Us, the greatest movie ever of the 80s.
You know, it's no Garbage Pail Kids, but it's good.
You know, Chris, marriage is not obsolete, but your shirt and fashion absolutely is, and that is my stance on this episode.
Well, I can't really defend my colorful wares, but I can ask how young Iowa Ian came into when did you first get St. Elmo, I should say, just to annoy you.
You know, this was one of those recorded on VHS tape, you know, EP mode. And I wish I could remember what tape it was. I've been trying to think about that all day. But I know we had St. Elmo's Fire on one of those tapes.
Oh God, yeah, this is totally a 3 tape from the 80s.
Oh yeah, I wish I want to
always
say
on HBO.
Well, I want to say Breakfast Club was there. I do. I want to say it was on the same tape as Breakfast Club. But I you know, because again, I would feel like I would go into this. However,
that's a strong mixtape. That's a strong
cocktail. This is what I remember the most, though. Remember when your parents would want to record something in like 1992 and they would randomly grab a damn tape and just record over it?
Okay.
All right. So this is what happened. Somewhere in like 1993, an Iowa Hawkeye game got recorded. And the game went all the way through St. Elmo's Fire, except I had the beginning up to where Rob Lowe goes to Mar Winningham's house. The game started there, and then it cut off right at Demi Moore when Julie is locked in her apartment and the windows blowing. They're all
the big scene. Yeah,
but it's like the Hawkeye game was in the middle of all of that and cut out the whole movie. But it's like I got the beginning of St. Elmo's Fire for a lot of years, and I got Julie's stuff till the end. That's what I got for all those years.
Wow. So you missed the meat and the potatoes.
Was there balloons that just went on my screen? What was that?
I will say though, just for the home audience,
what was the balloon thing?
I don't know. I don't think I noticed. Ian needs to lean back because you look like you're like part of the St. Elmo's cast behind you. If you lean over, like it looks like Ian's like the missing Brat Packer. He's part of the dad pack.
Also, side note, Demi Moore seems to have the best apartments in all the movies that she's in. Because this apartment was fire with the Billy Idol wall, and then
some controversy with the red walls too. Apparently, like cinematographers hated to shoot red walls and stuff. It was like kind of like you don't do that. Blah blah blah.
Joel Schumacher.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, but you don't really see that very often, do you?
No, you really don't. But I don't know. I think it's great. It's part of the look of this movie. Like I always think of Jules' apartment. You know.
Yeah,
that might be the next miniature build.
Oh, that would be epic. The empty Jules with like the window blowing,
that would be
the curtain blowing and everything.
Oh, dude,
you gotta have the Billy Idol too.
Yeah, with the illuminated earring and the above the hair. Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh man, you have Matthew Lawrence trying to pick up on Andrew McCarthy. What's up, Kevin?
If you didn't see this movie and want to instantly do like a lot of coke in that room, like I don't know who you are. Because I'm like that was like
that's
that room,
a weird take.
that room was like made for it. I'm like, you know what? I want to do coke right next to Billy Idol's head.
Yeah, not the Scarface mansion. No, Mickey wants the St. Elmo's Fire Julie apartment.
Oh, for sure, man. I want a sound system going. I want to do coke right by Billy Idol.
Mickey's like, I see that shit. I think about the Bolivian marching powder that was going around the streets back in '87.
You wanted to do blow next to Rob Lowe, who was doing blow on the set of that apartment.
Oh my god! If I could take a DeLorean,
don't you dare deny
and go back.
He was probably sober like a year after this, so
that's good for him.
Yeah.
And then I saw the other tape too. You know, it happens. You know, live your life.
Whatever.
What were you saying, Mickey?
That was a deep cut, Chris. You know.
Yeah, I know you're. I know you're making a Rob Lowe sex tape joke. I know you're besmirching my idol. We'll get all about the legend that is Rob Lowe. Yeah, well, that's another talk for another day. We'll get the PTA on this here episode with you talking about. All right, I'm sorry, Mickey. What were you saying, bud?
No. I'm just saying, like, that apartment was fire. That's to me. It's like, if I could, like, you know how Airbnb are doing like these icons, like a bunch of like you can stay at, like the X-Men school, like Prince's house from Purple Rain, which I will be staying there.
I know the dude who owns Buffalo Bill's house from Silence of the Lambs. I think he does really well renting that out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you could do the set of Jules's apartment, like if I can Airbnb and stay in there, oh my god, I would.
I want Up the Road.
Then I could really do coke by Billy Idol.
I've been there, but the Witness farm is right up the road. I'd stay there.
Oh God, the Witness farm. Jesus Christ, Ian.
What?
Witness?
Stay there?
Only your Iowa like gas station pizza eating ass would be like, it's the location from the Harrison Ford film Witness.
Go spit. That's the most romantic movie of the 80s, and you
I want to stay in the prison at Shawshank Redemption.
Cue the scene where he tells you how much better it plays on Betamax because Beta is better.
No, RCA video disc.
Oh, okay, all right. We're friends again. No, video disc. It's a little different. It predates Laserdisc by a few. So there's not too much in the chat today, but I do see Gold's Code and Angie Saunders in there. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Gold's Code says, I saw this movie as a kid and was confused that Elmo, the Count, and Oscar the Grouch weren't in it. He also says VCR Redux is a man in motion soaring higher and higher.
You want to be a man in motion?
Andy Saunders says, I love the music and Rob was hot. I agree with you, Andy Saunders. Rob Lowe was and is and will always be hot.
Who did the theme song? Was that Jan?
His name is John Parr. He's the soundtrack king.
Parr.
I will educate you for a minute here while I go on this tangent. Not only was he on the soundtrack to St. Elmo's Fire, not only was he on the soundtrack to Running Man, not only was he on the soundtrack to Three Men and a Baby, but he was also on the soundtrack to Quicksilver. That's right, folks. Quicksilver.
You Kevin Bacon be on this show? We are no longer friends. How dare you bring up that piece of garbage?
Oh, come on. In the history of bicycling movies, that's got to be in the top 10.
That's the over the top of bicycle movies. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
that's got to be in like the top 50 or 60 movies about bicycling.
I mean, there's not really many bicycling
Even Kevin Bacon doesn't acknowledge
50 or 60.
You're probably going to stop at like maybe 2 bicycling movies or whatever.
All I'm saying is, in
there's
the history,
Breaking Away and there's dirty, crappy films. That's it.
All I'm saying, in the history of bicycling movies, that is one of them.
It is ours.
Oh yeah. Would you count Rad as a bicycling movie?
Oh fuck yeah, Rad's the greatest. It's the Mount Rushmore of bicycling movies.
It's the greatest,
yeah.
Exactly.
So there you go. It's like Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Rad. Like,
what world do I live in where nobody acknowledges Breaking Away? I'm done with
That's fine. That's fine, but it's not.
I don't
Rad.
know if I know that one, honestly.
Breaking Away.
I'm embarrassed to say that I don't, but I do want to say I'm going to break away from you for a second because in the live chat I see Monica Thyman jumped in.
That was good.
Monica Thyman says, I heard the music before I watched the movie and I loved it. Then I saw the movie on video and I loved it too. That bestills my analog heart. So I'm kind of excited to say that this is the first time I can actually tell you that when I watched this movie, it was literally love at first Laserdisc. It's probably the only time I will say that I discovered a movie on Laserdisc. on this show and loved it.
Did
So I
you
had the
have a
story.
laser disc?
I did. The story
Wow.
is, in my late teens and early 20s, I dated a very rich girl, and one year for Christmas, she bought me a Laserdisc player. Even though Laserdiscs were already like out of fashion, she just had like cash to burn, and she knew that I was like really like into it. And she bought me a Laserdisc player with a lot of movies, and one of those movies was St. Elmo's Fire. And I had been this huge Brat Pack fan, and just like worshipped all those movies forever. And like I was like vaguely aware of St. Elmo's Fire, but I kind of like, sort of pre-internet, just kind of forgot. I was like, I don't see John Hughes's name on that poster, I was very foolish in overlooking that one. And I watched it, I must have been about like 19 or 20, with just like a bunch of friends at our, apartment one night. And, we're all like eating pizza and smoking cigarettes as we all did back then. And we all just like loved this movie. And I don't know, then it became like sort of, every year or so I would rewatch it. And then it became like, oh man, this is like a chicken soup for my soul movie. And this is the real 80s culture. That's what this movie is. And like, it's sort of like, this movie ages like wine for me. That like every time I come back to it, it's just like a little bit better than it was before. Or it's like a fine scotch or something. I don't know what these things are that age well. But like Rob Lowe, he ages well. This movie's like a Rob Lowe for me. But no, and honestly, in my early 20s, Rob Lowe in this movie, like that's all I wanted to be. Like I just wanted to be that. I played in a band, and like I so wanted to be that guy. None of us will ever be Rob Lowe.
To be a drunk guy getting DUIs and stuff.
No, I wanted to have the dangly earring and the really cool hair and the cool yellow shirts and play saxophone instead of drums, and it's Rob Lowe. You want to be the Rob Lowe version of it. He makes anything seem appealing. I watched Youngblood and I want to be a hockey player, damn it.
Nah.
No one made the hockey mullet look as good as Rob Lowe.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, so to me, like that's the guy we all want to be. But I feel like honestly, I probably relate to Kevin, Andrew McCarthy, like the most. Like he's the guy, like, you're kind of sleazy if you say you're like Alec, right? Like Judd Nelson, like, oh, I'm the dude that, cheats on everything. None of these guys really have redeeming qualities, right? But I'm probably more like the nerdy, quiet, shy one. Or I don't know, maybe I think there's a little Emilio to me as well, Kirby. Like Kirby Kager is kind of like the one quasi-admirable guy in the movie, if you think about it.
Kirby's the dreamer. Kirby's the dreamer.
Yeah.
He does.
And in my mind, Kirby and Andy McDowell are still together to this day.
That's the one flaw of this movie, and I'd still say this: it's Andy McDowell. Like
Are we going back on this Andy McDowell thing from like Multiplicity?
Yeah, I mean, like
you did this before, and when you were bashing McDowell, I was McDone. I won't stand for it. All right, that's it.
Kirby was I don't know, man. He was pretty fucking creepy, to say that we've all got a little bit of that in it. Like if you just watch it, you get sucked into the storyline and you're just like, oh, that's kind of cute. If you reflect on it for a little bit, you're like, dude, this is like some Silence of the Lambs shit. He's going to go to medical school. He stalks her at the party. And you get that point of view thing going. And then,
so you're not wrong at all. But I have this theory, and I'm sorry, let me cut you off real quick, Ian. I have this theory. I call it the John Cusack theory. If you take John Cusack and any one of his like sweethearted rom-com movies and you recast him as Steve Buscemi, everything he does becomes very creepy. Yeah. Everything. Or like Willem Dafoe or something, you know what I mean? Like it's like John Cusack gets away with shit because he's cute and it's like whatever. That's sort of the way movies were back then. But you're so right. Like the energy of like showing up at like some like this is the girl's like vacation getaway weekend where she is with another guy is like damn, that's fucking fucked up.
That went all over my head and I was still with him. I'm like, all right, you love this chick, you're obsessed with this chick. I mean, you can kind of get it. It wasn't until he drove off laughing after that one kiss that I'm like, oh dude, you're a maniac. You're insane. You got your kiss, and then I didn't take it as like, oh, I'm just so giddy that I got this kiss. It was like that was some maniacal Joker shit. He's driving off into the snowbank.
But don't we all know that guy?
Yeah, well,
we all
the thing
have that
is,
one
he's
friend.
That dreamer, like Ian said, he's totally a dreamer. And then when he accomplishes his dream, it's like oh my god, like I did it, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but it's that
Interesting.
quintessential, like you have that dream and you want to climb that summit, and once you do it, like it's gone. Like if there was a sequel, it would be great to see those two together, even though I think he's creepy as hell, and that was kind of a creepy scenario. I still wouldn't mind seeing them end up together.
But they would laugh about it now.
I don't even know if he would be interested anymore. Once he reaches that peak, he's like, okay, that was it. Like, it was the
you think it's like a dog chasing his car? Chasing a car thing.
100%. You know?
Oh, you think so too? So you think next week she ditches Ski Lodge guy, she gets with Emilio, and he's over it by Friday?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
It's
That's
forbidden.
a cold
It's
take.
forbidden fruit.
But
You might not be wrong. I never
but
considered that possibility.
Total thrill
I
of the
know we're
hunt
not.
for him.
I know we're not a sequel part, but it would be
Maybe.
interesting to see that, because the reality, it could be that Kirby just can't commit to anything. So everybody has their own like crazy fucked up thing. Andrew McCarthy, everything, don't want to commit, have to cheat on people, whatever the case may be. But Kirby secretly could be like them too, but he just doesn't show it. And then in a sequel, you basically see his flaws now, like where he's basically like he can't like commit to anything. Like he wanted to be a lawyer, but then he wanted to be a doctor, and then he decides, you know what, fuck that, I'm gonna be this, or whatever the case may be. Because in the end of it all is he just loves the chase.
Yeah. It's the thrill of the hunt. Because put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
Like you just left the woman that you're like obsessed with for years at a cabin with another guy. And because you got one kiss, are you laughing on the way home, or are you still heartbroken that you just left her there to have that sexy rest of the weekend? You know, I don't think any of us would be like, oh wow, I got that kiss. You know, I feel like once he reached that point, he's like, yeah, I got it, I'm done. Now he's on to the next one.
Yeah,
interesting. All right, what about Alec and Leslie and Kevin, like the triangle at the core of the movie?
Oh, well, look, the thing I will say about this, about St. Elmo's Fire, and it kind of leads to your question, Chris. As I've gotten older, I believe more and more in St. Elmo's Fire than I do Breakfast Club. Like Breakfast Club, I loved when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I don't. And even now, as a teacher, like it's harder and harder to watch that movie. And
I'm feeling what you're saying right now. Like I've kind of like had similar thoughts for a while, honestly. Like, and I love Breakfast Club. I can't say a word against it, but this movie really has a unique point to make that is not, the point of Breakfast Club and a lot of other teen movies. This is like a young adult movie before there really was much of a genre for that.
Well, and the fact like we're all past those 20s. Like, and I'm going to flat out say it, for me, I hated my 20s. The 20s in reflection were exactly what these kids go through. You think you're going to go down this path. You're raised up in the collegiate world to, you're going to go out and get your dreams, and you're going to do this, and you're guaranteed. And I just talked about this on our show yesterday. I mean, I knew I was going to have this internship at Roger Corman's studio as soon as I graduated from film school. That's where I was supposed to go. And boom, they get the internship to somebody else. I had a girlfriend who dumped me at that very moment, and I was supposed to move in with her brother in California, and it didn't work out. And then all of a sudden I moved back to Iowa with my parents, and then I get a job working at a college. And it's like, it shifted so much in the span of like 2 months. And I relate to what they go through in this movie. I remember feeling that way of going, this isn't what it was supposed to be. What is, what is this?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, you're definitely, to me, like you're getting at to what the core of the movie's about. And like, if you look at every character in this movie, there was even a review that came out that said, these are 7 of the most flawed characters in film history. And like Keanu was saying that to slam the movie, but you don't realize it's obviously intentional. It's kind of the point of the movie. But all these people are broken, and they all feel like there is something in their life that if they just, Kirby, if I just get Andy McDowell, like life will be okay. I'll get it. There'll be that moment where I go, aha, life makes sense now. I get it. If Rob Lowe gets the right gig, if Mayor Winningham gets Rob Lowe,
if I could just get her to leave
Alec, if I could just get her to marry me, I could stop cheating. That's his thing. It's like, and everyone's thing is bullshit because that's not really how life works. And it is really embodied very well in that speech that Rob Lowe gives about St. Elmo's fire. It's this thing that people made up to get them through. It doesn't exist. There is no St. Elmo's fire. There is no aha moment. You will never get it in life. That never happens. Doesn't matter what job, what girl, what anything. Like the only, there is no like aha moment.
And for some reason, it's literally like, this is a group of friends that literally is so incestuous, so fucked up, and so literally like there's no other people that would be friends with these people other than this group. They've literally like that's it. Like I feel like, like in life, they don't hang out with anybody else.
Yeah.
Like these are the only people. It's like, you can't, because nobody else wants to hang out with them, and they don't even want to hang out with other people. They just know
they want to hang out with each other at the very end, which is great. I love that.
Hanging them off the balcony
because they finally realize as in a sense that it's like, you know what, this is not my crowd anymore. Or basically, like it's like I don't really fit in here anymore. Or I do want to be better than I am.
That's a hard lesson to learn because I don't know about you guys, but I've had those friends that we have come and gone, and you sit there and you go, was it me? Was I the one that let go of that friendship?
So
did they let go of the friendship?
Have friends from high school. So few of us have friends from high school, like, and that they're true friends. I mean, we might have some, acquaintances. We might have some friends that are like, we've known each other since high school, whatever the case may be. But it's very rare to have a true friend that you've known from childhood, high school. It's, it's very rare.
Yeah.
Well, people change. I mean, it's like any relationship, it changes. And I think the movie shows that quite a bit. I mean, Jules, like I knew in college, I knew Jules. Like I knew that girl down the hallway who would not give me the time of day, would not talk to me. Like you knew the Jules. I also, thank God for Facebook, got to see what happened to Jules afterwards. And you there's that part of you that goes, "Yep, saw that one coming." Yeah, and you feel bad. You feel sympathy and empathy. You feel all those things. I mean that's what I'm saying. Like as I gotten older, this movie is to the point where it's almost hard to watch because it's so truthful. It's
a better rewatch.
Yeah, it's a hard,
and it's something that you can go back to versus like Chris said, or you guys talk about like Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club is a great movie, and I mean take any of the Brat Pack movies or whatever the case may be.
Which
St.
includes
Elmo's
Class.
Fire, which includes Class. St. Elmo's Fire is still like by far the best and stands the test of time.
And although, have you guys seen Fresh Horses?
Oh God, yeah.
With Andrew McCarthy and Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, I like Fresh Horses actually. I like all those weird movies. Like there's the one, there's the one with that Dempsey did with Molly Ringwald as well. I've been dying to get my hands on a copy of that one. The music one. It's sort of like music and lyrics. Yeah, it's sort of like music and lyrics, but with Dempsey and Ringwald.
And then like in France or some shit like that.
No. For Keeps is her and Randall Batinkoff. It's a John Avildsen.
That's the baby one. That's the baby one.
That's what James Woods.
Pauly Shore's in it. James Woods.
Wait, which one am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of Immediate Family. Never mind. That's.
Oh gosh, wow!
That's with Kevin Dillon. That was a deep one. There.
Wow, yeah, you're going way too deep now. But one thing I know we're past
7
pitch
degrees
time.
of Kevin Bacon, you Quicksilver son of a bitch.
I know we are past pitch time, but I feel like one aspect of this film that I just have to mention is the fact that without this film, we would not have what is called the Brat Pack. There was an article,
article.
being written about this film. I think the guy's name was David Bloom, and to try and help probably the writer as well as himself, Emilio Estevez was like, why don't I take you out, like show you like what it's like being a young actor like in the 80s and all this stuff, and tried to like schmooze this guy. And I think Joel Schumacher describes this writer. He goes, I just got the vibe from this guy that he was someone that was never asked to dance, and this was his opportunity to like bash the beautiful people here to get his revenge on them. So he came up with this term and he coined them as the Brat Pack, because he said, oh, you got to see these actors going out. They try and like get into the movies for free and do all this stuff, and they're like loud and obnoxious, and they just party, and they they don't respect what they've been given, their responsibility, blah blah blah, and just slam them. And so like all those actors, and if you're wondering which exactly which actors am I talking about, it's basically if you're in St. Elmo's Fire or Breakfast Club, you're a Brat Packer. Now like Mare Winningham is obviously kind of on the
outlier. Yeah.
She was an outlier, but like Demi Moore
never really did any other movies with them.
And Demi Moore was kind of like, to the Brat Pack what Michelle Williams was to Dawson's Creek, like kind of like lucky to be the least associated with it, so that like when the next chapter came, it was the easiest to accept Demi Moore, and like they're outside of that, outside of that like constraint or whatever.
Because she truly did movies without them too.
Yeah. That was the only, she just did this and About Last Night, I think, were really the only like kind of Brat Packy, type of movies. But God, About Last Night is another one I would love to do on this show at some point. But anyway, it is pitch time, and there are actually quite a few in the live chat already. So let's see. First pitch I see is from Whiskey 41, Alex Bonafonte himself. His pitch: Lowe's character struggles silently for decades with depression. The gang reunites for his funeral and must reconcile with the very different people they become in St. Elmo's Big Chill. I actually kind of like that. I'm sad to see Rob Lowe go, especially because he's probably the one of the cast who's like, no disrespect to anyone, who's like him and Demi visually maintained. They look so great still.
No, because you know who would be though? It's a great premise. I mean, I love the Big Chill. I mean, everybody loves the Big Chill, but it would honestly probably be Judd Nelson, because Judd Nelson, unfortunately, doesn't really want to associate with these movies anymore. I mean, there's
really.
Kevin,
he didn't do the documentary.
Andrew McCarthy, yeah, I was just gonna say.
He didn't do the Brats, the Andrew McCarthy documentary.
No, he was the one. He was the only one who said no to it, because he just did. He was just like, I never bought into what he said. Well, he released a statement saying like, I never bought into the idea of this being the Brat Pack and that article, and these were movies of its time, and to make it into a thing is just unnecessary, and blah blah blah. So to be honest, it would have been Judd Nelson who probably wouldn't participate, but everybody else would be interesting to see.
Oh, totally. Well, yeah, okay, Alec, I buy that. Why not?
And I could.
Although unfortunately, that would be the Big Chill, though. I mean, that's literally the Big Chill is about college friends getting back together for a funeral.
True.
So you'd have to change it up just a little bit,
but still,
maybe you can have him die in the course of the movie. Maybe he's dying. Maybe he's like, basically like, something happens. They get together for a reunion of some sort, and he gets hit like at the reunion by a drunk driver or something like that and killed or whatever.
Oh man, tragic.
American graffiti on this.
So there are some more. Another one from Whiskey 41. Another pitch. The gang reunites and charters a jet to Machu Picchu, but it crashes in a Mexican jungle. They must use the combat skills they acquired between films. Steven Seagal in a different kind of predator.
Oh my God.
Oh jeez.
Oh man, I love the Seagal pitches though. I never see them coming. I'm getting blindsided by them like Ian is with airborne pitches. I love it. So the great Angie Saunders has a pitch. Says the gang finds themselves at St. Elmo's Fire for the wedding of Leslie and Kevin, as their one-night stand ended her getting knocked up. Billy became a famous musician. Wendy ended up marrying Kirby. Billy became a famous musician. Mandy married Kirby, or no, Kirby ended up with Dale. Sorry, it's a little broken here. And Alec and Jules ended up getting married. Love ends up winning, right or not. So that's interesting. There's a few more, and just to get us caught up here. Another one from Andrew Saunders. A fresh group of marketing professionals is in need of a spokesman for the latest erectile dysfunction medication. We need someone morbidly obese, barely able to stand for long periods, yet who seems masculine for the target demographic. Steven Seagal and the trouble with performance.
Go for it.
It's not really related to St. Elmo's Fire, but hey, I like it. You could say that Jules got into marketing, maybe.
I always thought this, and maybe this isn't necessarily pitching St. Elmo's Fire 2, but I felt for years there should have been that one movie that does reunite or unite the Breakfast Club cast with the St. Elmo's Fire cast, but like a different brand new story,
okay.
And so for this movie, everybody in St. Elmo's Fire, plus you bring in Anthony Michael Hall, plus Molly Ringwald, and somehow or another, let's say you did the movie now, it'd actually be fascinating because this basically would be about people retiring. This group is literally retiring at this point. The early Gen Xers are starting to leave the market. So
Okay.
I actually think it'd be kind of fascinating to see where they all are now at the very end of their careers.
Like St. Elmo's Gardens, like it's literally a
Yeah.
55 plus retirement community they all move into.
But think about that. What did Rob Lowe do? I mean, did he get into a band and they had a one?
He's playing for Bruce Springsteen.
No, gross. No, nobody plays for Bruce Springsteen. You just strum a guitar and you just let that fool go. Whatever. I hate Springsteen.
Oh my
but
God. You hate everything that's fun.
no, I don't. I like Bon Jovi. Back off. That's the only Jersey band.
So Frank Sinatra's no good now.
But literally,
What the fuck am I?
I know.
But
This
again,
guy
seeing like Rob Lowe, and he had that
wants
one
to
hit
sleep
wonder,
in like a
and
abandoned
he's
village.
he's living, he's doing that thing that we all fear the most for bands that we like, who have that one hit. He's now touring the state fairs, and he's and so it'd be interesting to see that where he's at now, to see Jules actually did make something of herself, but she went to jail because of insider trade, or just seeing them.
So now I'm sorry, something's kind of flashing in my head now. Like you mentioned Rob Lowe playing like, state festivals or something, like whatever it was that you said.
Yeah.
There's this thing on YouTube. I think it's called Monterey Keytar Guy. And there's this guy, Mickey knows what I'm talking about, who's like incredible at keytar. Like he is so insanely talented at keytar. Like he just fucking shreds the shit out of keytar. But he looks like Alan Thicke from Growing Pains, like the dad, and he like kind of dresses like it. But he's just running around like Six Flags on the PA wirelessly, like ripping keytar in like grandmother's faces and shit. And like that's the Rob Lowe I want to see.
That would be fascinating.
He does parties now and stuff like that. Like you can rent a Rob Lowe. You can rent
I mean, or
my
seeing,
whole thing.
Or seeing Kevin is literally sold out. Like he is the sellout of all of the sellouts. Like he's now, he got married. He's been married like 5 times.
Kevin became a sellout, you say?
Kevin 100% Kevin sold out. Kevin's the guy now selling his house for $500,000, and he got it in '89 for $52,000. Like that's a Kevin. Again, it just seeing how they did this group get lost in the 90s. Did they kind of give up, and they did vote for George Bush in 2000. Who are they now?
What if you did like a horror movie premise, almost like a I know what you did that summer, and basically it's Andy McDowell like hunting them down, like so Kirby disses her or whatever like that. So she's like, "Fuck this," and they start getting
I'm gonna
letters
fuck up
and
this whole
stuff like that.
crew.
Yeah, they start getting letters, and then they're like, "Who sent this?" And they start like, they haven't talked to each other in years, and all of a sudden they're like
I love it.
calling each other up and going like, "Did you send me this?" And like, and it's like, "No, it's not me," whatever like that. All right, well, we need to get together. We need to figure this out. And they all like Airbnb, like St. Elmo's Fire is like they literally like reopen it up, and it's an Airbnb now. So they stay at St. Elmo's Fire. Because that's how Andy McDowell like worked it out. She basically got this renovated and set up so that they would come back to this location. So then like she could just like fucking burn the place down with a minute or something like that.
I love it. St. Elmo's Fire 2, Surviving the Game.
I was thinking, what if like the St. Elmo's Fire that we have now takes place over a span of time, but what if we did more of like a Suburbia take on it, where it was like just one night, there was just remember on Suburbia it was just that night. The guy was in town, he got off from his concert. What if we did all of it just one night of recap, as opposed to and just catching up on all of the characters.
St. Elmo's Flame by Richard.
But you know what you have to do too, because like one of the things I forgot to mention about what I love about this movie, it's like there's this ongoing thing where I often feel like movies would be awesome if the theme song would be rolling through the whole movie, like almost like a sitcom where you like hear like all of a sudden out of the blue, like it's like I'll see you tomorrow. Like, it
kind of does do that though,
and it kind of does it. That's why I love this movie.
It's just that one song throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, every time something gets serious, that's
no. They got the fucking Rob Lowe sax song. That's the jam right there.
Oh yeah, but I'm trying to be like the Lost Boys.
This is 2 years before Lost Boys came out. This is 2 years prior.
That's the inspiration. Like Cry Little Sister this was the inspiration for that.
Yeah, you should have had Rob Lowe doing that shit. Oh my god, so good. That's a reel I need to cut right there.
Yeah.
Every sax solo.
You gotta mash it up.
Just every sax solo cut to Rob Lowe from St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, you gotta do it, bro. You gotta do it.
Instead of dueling pianos, you got dueling saxes. You got the Lost Boys guy, and you got Rob Lowe.
You could have him on Tender Heart. Tender Years. You could have him on Tender Years, bro.
Oh, dude. Eddie and the Cruisers with Rob Lowe on sax. Fuck yeah.
God, Tender Years.
It's perfection. Now who's rock solid? But there are some more pitches. There are some more pitches.
Because you did Eddie 1, not that piece of junk that you guys.
Oh my God, we need sexy Charlie Tansey in here. But we do have some fresh faces in the chat. I see Michael Ricci in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, Mike. He says Emilio goes after Andy in Groundhog Day 2. And you know what? I'm not mad about it. Honestly, I'm not even a little bit mad about it. Gold's Code also has a pitch, so it's probably time for Ian to cover his ears. St. Elmo's opens a branch in Cincinnati only for the preps to take it over. Now Mitchell and crew need to liberate it and return it to glory in St. Airborne. St. Airborne is so good. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Can you see Wiley? Wiley would be like, living the dream, man.
I need the whole cast of Airborne on the St. Elmo's Fire poster now, and it's just
only if at the very end of this movie, as like everybody dissipates and everybody walks away, there's just Andrew McCarthy there by himself, and all of a sudden Jacqueline Bisset comes driving up in a car. Class, man.
Yes, but I'm just saying. Man. I mean, that would be cool, but like,
that'd be hot.
She's not alive, is she?
Yeah, she's alive.
Well, she doesn't.
I hope Jacqueline Bisset. I hope Jacqueline Bisset lives forever.
Well, none of these people look like they did in 1985. I mean, that'd be cool. Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe looks like Rob Lowe.
Exactly. I mean, he hasn't aged too bad.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I met Ali Sheedy just a few short years ago. She looked fantastic.
Yeah, same here.
Demi still looks fantastic.
Awesome.
Andrew McCarthy looks great. Emilio, they all look great. You know. It is actually one of those. I always say people underestimate how much you can point to the success of Cobra Kai to the fact that all those people still look like those people. There's no one who looks like unrecognizable. Everyone still look like no one went like completely bald and became
Plastic
unrecognizable.
surgery.
No one had plastic surgery and became unrecognizable. No one became like huge and became unrecognizable. They're all basically the same shape and size. Some a little bit weathered, more than others, but they all look really great and they all still really look like the same people. And that's pretty much the truth for this movie as well. Everyone could come back and be recognizable.
Can you imagine these people as parents?
Do an All in the Family remake with Sally Struthers.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I guess the presence of Judd Nelson would be sorely missed, I guess, if you try to do it today. But I always think about what if, the time travel sequel happened. What if they did another St. Elmo's Fire in like 87? Say this movie opened a little stronger.
They did. It's called the TV show 30 something.
Oh, but what about if they use that de-aging, the aging like AI or whatever like that? Basically, and like they have
that's
them and they
disgusting.
Oh my god, I would like to just see it though. I just like to see it. Give it to me.
It'd be Mickey, there's a part of me that's like, just out of sheer curiosity, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I agree with honestly. That would be kind of fascinating to see.
I mean, yeah, it's like curiosity-wise. I would be curious who like the '90s cast would be in this. It
would be Beverly Hills 90210 because essentially,
Beverly
Hills 90210 was very.
Luke Perry would have been Rob Lowe for sure. Yeah.
It was Saved by the Bell, the college.
Yeah, Jason Priestley would have been Judd Nelson. Yeah,
for sure.
Brian Austin Green would have been
Andrew McCarthy. Totally.
Can I write something on our show?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what the show's about, but
it is. I
it.
stand by Zach Morris should have ended up with Leah Remy's character from The Beach. Then what's
Stacey
her doofus?
Carruthers.
Oh yeah, well those are some of my favorite episodes ever.
The Beach
and whenever you
episodes
take
are
whenever it's hard to take a TV show and like completely like we're gonna do like a half a season or something in a completely new location. That shit worked. They did it well.
The Beach Club in Beverly Hills 90210.
They did it well too.
The best.
It is the best. Yeah, underground poker games and
Well, and that's I'm almost
David
thinking,
Silver like trying out to be to get a record deal.
Something
Henry watching his soap operas.
Well, I was just gonna say 30 something in a weird way was kind of like a St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, it just continuing on that kind of path of like, all right, this is Gen Xers as they got into the 30s. This is But what was the 40s? What was in their 40s? What was the 2000s version of St. Elmo's Fire? Ally McBeal,
I mean, you have a point there, but even still, like one part of this movie that I love is their stupid, weird, like high five thing. They're like, oh boy, like that weird thing that they do. Like it's so what the fuck, but I don't know. I just absolutely, it works. Like I just absolutely love it.
It's never explained though.
It's never explained, and it never
it's probably something they did off screen, and then they just put it in the movie.
Joel Schumacher's like, whatever, just film it.
Yeah.
The spinoff I want to see is what happened to Billy's baby. How messed up she grew up to be. You know who she?
But that's the thing. She grew.
He's got a good
she
point
grew up
here.
to be Natalie Portman and Where the Heart Is, giving birth in the Walmart.
Wow.
That's what I said. I said like, how fucked up would these people's kids be?
Oh,
you know.
Well,
but think about this. Okay, but here, think about this. All right. Think of your friends who now are parents. Right? Like, them when they were in their craziest mode. Now you see them as parents. You switch off that mode after a while. So, I mean, the kids wouldn't be that terrible. I mean, Kevin would have finally just, you go to your job and you do your thing. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I got married. Like, okay, well, now I'm into it.
But what if they didn't? What if they still to this day remain like they're in their 20s.
Oh, Jules would be a terrible mom. I'm gonna flat out say it. Jules would be the crappiest mom, and she probably would have been a mom. Like I can imagine Jules had like 4 babies, and like 2 baby daddy. You know, like I mean, like that's like yeah, no,
well,
totally.
She just so wanted to be loved.
That's what I'm saying. Like Jules would have had kids. I mean, for that exact reason you said. She would have probably had a bunch of kids. I mean.
I'm kind of inspired by something I see in the chat from Michael Rishi, and I'll get to his pitch. It's a Game of Thrones kind of connected pitch.
They all die at a wedding? Like what?
No. His pitch is St. Elmo's Fire. His pitch is basically St. Elmo's Fire and Ice, and it's a Game of Thrones reference, I guess. I don't know Game of Thrones, but the Fire and Ice has me thinking, what if you had all the Icemen? What if you had Ice Cube, Vanilla Ice, and Ice T as your 3 dudes? There's 3 of the dudes. Like, who could you cast around that to fill that out? They don't have Vanilla. They don't have Rob Van Winkle and Trespass.
Oh, I guess they don't. Yeah, that's true.
But that would definitely be the early 90s version. The 10 years later thing, I would actually not mind to have seen the 1995 version of St. Elmo's Fire.
You could have the MCs.
Like the
so
indie, like directed by Ali Sheedy.
MC Hammer.
You did. It's called Indian Summer.
I don't know if I know Indian Summer.
Oh, you never saw Indian Summer?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've
dropping some knowledge on me today, though.
That's a fascinating one. It's kind of the Gen Xers in their 30s. I forgot about Indian Summer.
I think the 10 years later, and it's like a dinner party kind of thing. Like we pitch a lot of Dinner with Andre type of things, but I think Press, you were saying about doing it in one night, and I think doing it one night at a dinner party, and they haven't seen each other, or some of them they haven't all been together in one place for 10 years.
Yeah,
maybe
and
one of them getting married.
some of their relationships are strained, some of them are whatever, but like it all plays out at this fucking dinner party. Maybe someone's dying. There's kind of like there's a lot of everyone's got their own story going on. That could actually be something, I think. That might be a way. I don't know. Like at the night, if it's the 95 version, that's what I would have wanted to see. Exactly 10 years later, it's like an HBO film or like an art house kind of film, like maybe even like directed by Ali Sheedy or like Andrew McCarthy. I would really enjoy that.
Now. I mean, she's
yeah. I mean, a lot of them.
And her daughter's acting now too.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's Rob Lowe's daughter.
Oh, that's not bad. Well, I don't know if we cracked the code for a St. Elmo's sequel, but we sure had fun trying. Unfortunately, we are just about out of time. But before we wrap this up, I do want to give you guys a chance to let the people at home know what's going on. If there's anywhere you want to let them follow you or anything you want to let the people at home get hyped up about, now's the time.
I just dropped a new B-Movie Challenge article on Invasion of the Blood Farmers, and stay tuned for another fun little one of the B-Movie Challenge article of Teenagers Battle the Thing. A Bigfoot movie that doesn't actually have Bigfoot in it.
Interesting.
Oh, well, you definitely sold me at not having Bigfoot in a Bigfoot movie. That put me right over the top. I'll be there opening night. Press, anything going on with you, or just not much since last week? Let the people follow you on the interwebs and all that.
Yep, follow me at thebeardedminiaturist.com and on Instagram at thebeardedminiaturist. I got a new studio I'm moving into this week, so I'll be posting some new pictures of that. It's going to be really cool. I can't wait. I'm super stoked.
Getting me hyped up. Well, then it's time for me to say that you Fandom fans might want to tune in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we learn what is best in life for our Conan episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button, leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, The Bearded Miniaturist, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
1 p.m.